I'm Elvis Mitchell sitting with John C. Reilly. What do you miss about theater as compared to doing film? So what do you like best about doing theater?
I like being out there with the audience and being really untethered from the director and not having to do things immediately over again. You've got to do them again the next night, but I don't know. I always say like theater is like Olympic training for actors. It's the same process as film, except it's just sped up. You emote this stuff and make these sounds, and as long as this the speed of sound is the time it takes to get to the audience and the reaction comes bouncing back to you. Movies are essentially the same thing, except it's stretched way out. You speak your words, and it takes 6 months for your words to reach the audience's ears, and then slowly it comes back, by way of people coming up to you like, "Hey, I saw such and such. That was awesome." So yeah, it's essentially the same thing, but just slowed down. But I like the lifestyle of doing theater. I like the schedule of it. It feels like, I don't know. It's like being a priest or something. You go to this church every night, and you have these, like, the lights go down. You have this ritual thing happens. Everyone pretends that this is really happening on the stage, and I don't know, like the emotions go back and forth between you and the audience.
And the audience is as important as the actors. I mean, because if it's not an audience that's feeling the material, then there's something crucial missing, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, that's where you get all your energy up there, for sure. But I also have a very lazy side of me that loves movies for that reason. Like, there's nothing quite as like the feeling of doing a good job in a scene and doing a really, really cool scene with another actor. And at the end of the day, like, I never have to do that again. They got it, I was crying, I was upset, but I'll never have to do that again. It's there. If it was good, it's good forever, Whereas theater, it's like, you finish, you're like, thank you, tomorrow night. You have to, just get used to the cruel reality of repeating yourself every night.
But I guess I always wonder, especially for someone like you, for whom theater is so important, is you get to do it as a piece. You own it for the entire evening. You don't have to cry and then go after lunch and make somebody laugh again because it's not being shot in sequence.
Yeah. Yeah, there's something, there's a reason that theater still exists, that movies and TV didn't just stamp out theater, because there's something, very unique about it, both as a spectator and as a performer.
I mean, because one of the things, going to Chicago theater, I grew up in Detroit, and I go see those plays. There's a real sort of sense of you had to earn the audience because you had to prove it to the audience. It wasn't like Broadway where people will come and it is like a church. It was like a storefront church, Chicago theater. Yeah,
well, some of those theaters, like there's 30 people in the audience, and you can, if someone raises an eyebrow, you notice it from stage. Well, that said, though, I think audiences in Chicago are much more up for the game, They're much more, there's hundreds of theaters in Chicago, and there really is a real core theater audience in Chicago that's very loyal and very supportive. I actually, when I'm in New York, feel more of that sense of like, prove it to me. What, I paid $100 for this ticket. This better be good,
But I find sometimes in New York, the audience it's almost theater is an obligation. I got to go, I live here, I got to go do this.
Right.
Where are we going to eat? Do we have time to really go get a drink during the intermission?
That's one thing I noticed, like, the last few times I've been to the theater in New York, in the more expensive shows on Broadway, there's the standing ovation phenomenon. It's like, I can't tell you how many times I've been in audiences where it's a standing ovation, no matter what. And it's almost like, this, I think it's a combination of like, my butt really hurts and I want to stand up. I've been sitting here for 2 hours. And the other thing is like, I paid $100 for this ticket. Therefore, it has value. Therefore, this play was good. Therefore, it deserves a standing ovation. People are just kind of like self-actualizing, as opposed to just being open to being, it moved me or it didn't move me. It's like, I paid $200 to sit here. I'll be damned if it didn't move me. You know what I mean?
Oh, sure. That's why you get that thing where in the orchestra, people are standing. You look in the balcony, nobody's standing.
Yeah, exactly. But every once in a while, something great still sneaks through. And I think that's just always the way. I think it's almost like an accident when the really great works of art come along. I've always felt that way with movies that I was very proud of. Like when we made Boogie Nights, I remember thinking like, they don't even know what they paid for. We're sneaking this one into the system.
You could tell.
Yeah, because Paul had made a great first film, and there were actors in the movie that were known, but it wasn't like this expectation. New Line just kind of paid for that movie. It was a relatively small budget. We made it over the summer, like out in West Covina and out in the valley where no one was really paying attention. And all of a sudden, this weird, wonderful movie came out of it. And I literally remember feeling when we're making it like, we got to hurry up before they figure out what they paid for,
And getting away with it.
Yeah. So, whether it's a play or a film, like, it always seems like we snuck one in. We snuck one in when they weren't looking and got something really good out there.